remember the girls' names. Anyway, doesn't matter. Not important. Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. Today I am coming to you with my 20 books that I am excited for in October. All these books have been either released in October or released in paperback in October. And usual caveat on these videos, these are all the books that if I had unlimited money and unlimited time to read, they would all be pre-ordered, put it that way. Some of these books have been sent to me via NetGalley, but just because I get a NetGalley ARC doesn't necessarily mean they'll be included in these videos. These videos will either be, at the moment, it's sometimes books that I haven't got round to yet. That is just because I have so many NetGalley ARCs. However, from December, I'm limiting the number that I accept / send for. So any book that I mention in here from then on that has been sent to me on NetGalley will be one that I've read and loved. So shall we get into it? I, like last month, have split these up into genres because a lot of you said that you preferred it that way. So today I have non-fiction, middle grade / children's, young adult, mystery thriller and contemporary / romance, with quite a few Christmas novels thrown in at the end for good measure. There'll be timestamps below, so if there is just one genre that you're here for, feel free to skip ahead to that. So, without further ado, let's start with the non-fiction. So the first non-fiction book that I'm excited for in October is Overdue, Birth, Burnout and Blueprint for a Better NHS by Amity Reed, and that is out today on the 1st of October. I am starting to get to the point now, I don't want to say left my job within the NHS, but it's kind of on rocky road at the moment. I have pressed pause on it. I am currently working with a therapist to decide what I want to do long term. But I've become really obsessed with literature about what's going on in the NHS and how we make it better. I don't know if I have to remove myself from it for my own mental and physical health, but I'm a little bit obsessed with doing research to find ways to make it better. And this book is focused more on the maternity side of things, but I think it will be a really interesting read. With middle grade / children's, the first book I've actually read via NetGalley, and that is A Dancer's Dream by Catherine Woodfine and illustrated by Lizzie Stewart. This is out on the 29th of October, and this story follows a young girl, Stana, who is at a ballet school and is chosen to play Clara in the Nutcracker. This is going to be one of those books. I have a little selection of books that you will see nearer to Christmas that I read every year. And that includes The Nutcracker, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. They're all children's books, so I tend to read them all in one night, usually Christmas Eve if I can. And I think this book would make a great addition to that. Reading it on ebook, I don't think I really got the gorgeousness of the illustrations. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on a print copy of that. The third book that I have for you is Elf by Kim Smith, and this will be out on the 12th of October. I pretty much squealed when I saw this online. So I didn't know that these books had been made, and there's not just Elf, I think there's also Back to the Future, E.T., Home Alone. And they are all books, all children's books, telling the stories of these famous films. And if you grew up like me, I'm a 90s baby, and all these films, to now have a book of them, I just think it would absolutely make my Christmas. So I'm hoping to get my hands on that one. Number 4 is one that I've actually pre-ordered, and that is The Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch by Tom Fletcher. Last year I was kindly sent the Christmasaurus book and I absolutely devoured it. Story tells of a young boy who is in a wheelchair, and he basically goes on a Christmas adventure with the Christmasaurus, and this is the sequel to that. So I can't really tell you much about it other than I have pre-ordered it and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Book number 5 is When Life Gives You Mangoes by Karine Gettin. This is also released today, I believe. Yep, the 1st of October. And this, okay, so I read this book recently and it was this kind of beautiful, I don't want to say hard-hitting, but kind of hard-hitting middle grade about forgiveness and friendship and all of these things. And yeah, that was really good. There'll be more about this in my wrap up. And then book number 6 is Roll With It by Jamie Sumner. Again, that is released today. And this looks like such a lovely book. It's been compared to Wonder. And this book follows our main character who has cerebral palsy and how life changes for them when they move to a new town. It's the first children's book I have personally come across with a disabled main character, and I just thought the picture on the front was beautiful. I think that children and middle grade books are really where we need to be pushing more and more for the diversity to show kids that it's okay to be different. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that one. Number 7. And we're moving on to YA now, and this is the only YA book that I've got to talk about this month, and this is The Pan by Jenny Hickman, and this comes out on the 14th. This, from what I've read, is a kind of loose retelling of Peter Pan, but in a modern day, in that a girl is unwell, and when she goes to the doctors, it finds out that she has this sort of magical power, and she has to decide between staying in our world with our family and who she loves, or cutting them off completely and going off to Neverland. So I haven't heard anyone else talk about this. I literally just saw it when I was browsing the internet and thought that sounded good. So that is now on my radar and I can't wait to get my hands on it. The next 2 books are both mystery/thriller. And the first of these is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is also released today. Today is a good day for books. I pre-ordered this one right back when we as booktubers started talking more about the Black Lives Matter movement, and I talked about pre-ordering books to uplift black and non-white authors, and it came to my attention that there aren't many thrillers out there written by black authors. Now, Alyssa Cole is known for her romance novels, but this is set to be her first thriller, and yeah, it just says it's Rear Window meets Get Out in this gripping thriller, and I've heard that it's about gentrification of the neighbourhood, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that. The second mystery thriller is The Book Club by CJ Cooper, and that is also released today. This book reminds me a little bit of a Leanne Moriarty from the way it's told. Apparently there's a book club, which anything with books in it, I am there for you. But this is, I think, 4 people and they all have secrets, and one of them is murder. What more can I say about that, really? Now, on to the second half of this video. I have 9 contemporary/romances here, and 5 of those are Christmas books. The first of these is This Green and Pleasant Land by Aisha Malik, and today the paperback comes out of this. The hardback has been out for ages and I've heard about this on other people's channels, but essentially the main character's mum has died. They live in quite a small town in the UK, I think, and her dying wish is to build a mosque there. But from what I gathered, the community isn't happy about it. And it's this story about whether building this mosque in the mother's honour will bring the community together or push them further apart. And I have been reading more books based on Muslims recently, and it's really nice to see. The second book is The Secret of You and Me by Melissa Lenhart. I have already read and absolutely loved this book. There will be more about it in my wrap up, but essentially it says you always come back to your first love. And when Nora's dad dies, she returns to her hometown in small town Texas and has to deal with some secrets from the past and why she moved away. And this is just, it's told from the stories of Nora and her best friend Sarah, and the way Sophie, and the way their stories just intertwine, my heart actually broke for them at points, and I loved this book. It is a sapphic romance, so I would definitely pick that up. Book number 12 is The Girl Who Reads on the Metro. Again, this is the paperback release, and this is coming out today. What can I say about this book other than this girl reads on her commute to escape her life and then meets a bookshop owner of an enchanted bookshop. I don't know whether it's enchanted in the magical sense or just, you know, as most bookshops are enchanted, but I really want to give that a read. Number 13 is All About Us by Tom Ellen. Now, I was a bit sceptical when I first started reading this. I have this on NetGalley, and it has two things that I really don't like. It has the protagonist as a male, and I don't generally like romances purely from the male point of view. I do like it when it's a dual narrative, but just purely from the male. And it also has a genre of a cheating spouse, which again is not normally my thing, but this book completely broke my heart and put it back together again. It's kind of a retelling of A Christmas Carol in a way, and it has the elements of time travel in that our main character, can't remember his name, I read so many books, all the names blur into one. So on Christmas Eve, he's feeling a bit let down with his life, a bit depressed. He wants to talk to his best friend about it, but has that kind of macho, can't talk to my friend about this, and a stranger overhears the conversation and gives him a watch. He then proceeds to go back in time to different points in his life, and in every part sees something that he didn't at the time. And like I say, it just broke my heart and put it back together again, and 5-star recommend this book. If I didn't already say, All About Us will be released on the 15th of October. And also on the 15th of October is the release of Sophie Cousin's This Time Next Year in paperback. This is already out in Kindle ebook. And basically, this is Quinn and Minnie are born on New Year's Eve in the same hospital 1 minute apart. Their lives may begin together, but their worlds couldn't be more different. What if fate is trying to bring them together? Maybe it's time to take a chance on love. And oh, that just sounds perfect. I am literally going to go and start reading this now as soon as I finish this video. So it may be in my September wrap up. You may have to wait till October. But that just sounds gorgeous. Thank you to the publishers for sending me a paperback copy of this. Right, and now, although those last two books do have elements of Christmas in them, I didn't want to class them as purely Christmas books because I kind of think, especially the Tom Ellen one is mostly based at Christmas. I will give that. Don't know about This Time Next Year. But the next few books that I'm going to share with you are 100% Christmas books. And I am going to do a video at the beginning of December, which will be all the Christmas books that I recommend through ones that I've read this year, ones that I've read in the past. So keep an eye out for that. However, first up are two that I haven't actually got round to reading yet, and hopefully we'll read them before that video in December. But the first is Beth Good's A Very Cornish Christmas, and this is released on the 29th of October. Can't really say much about it. The same as the next one, which is Finding Love at the Christmas Market by Jo Thomas, which is also released on the 29th of December. I'm just a sucker for Christmas. I absolutely love Christmas books. And you will see, if you watch my wrap up, which will be coming on Tuesday, that there's a couple that missed the mark for me, but can't wait to get into those too. And the last three books are three books that I have read and absolutely loved. The first one is Meet Me in London by Georgia Toffolo, and that is released on the 15th of October. Now, if you're a Made in Chelsea fan or I'm a Celebrity fan, you'll know Toff. She was crowned the Queen of the Jungle, and Toff has always been one of these people that I loved watching on telly because she is just so sweet. I did wonder, when I saw that she'd written a book, I thought, oh, is this going to be one of those celebrity books that relies on the fact that she's a celebrity rather than actually has good characters? But no, it was beautiful. Our main character is working in a little bar in, I think it's in Chelsea or somewhere like that, somewhere high-end London, and on the street is a department store that's opening up. Anyway, she meets this guy and they agree to start fake dating because his mom wants to see him married off, basically. I love a fake dating trope, especially one like this, set at Christmas. and it was just gorgeous. Loved it, absolutely loved it. So recommend that one. Also on the 15th of October is One Family Christmas by Bella Osborne. This is the first Bella Osborne book I've read, but I now want to go and collect her whole backlist and just devour them one after the other, because this was just such a cute book. The romance in it was great, but also the family dynamics, and a lot of the stuff that happened you could really see happening. You know, in some romances they're a little bit far-fetched, like Meet Me in London was like the typical rom-com that I'd watch on telly, whereas One Family Christmas was more like a cosy Christmas film. I don't know how to explain it, but it was gorgeous. It was really, really gorgeous. And yeah. And last but not least is my favourite Christmas book that I've read so far. I literally finished reading this afternoon, and you will see more about it in my wrap up, but it's One More for Christmas by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan is the absolute queen of writing family dynamics. I read Family for Beginners earlier in the year from her, and again, another author that I now want to collect her backlist. And it was just so bloody cosy, and all of the stories, it was told from I think about 4 different storylines, and it had romances, it had friendships, it had couples that had been together for a long time, it had grief, and it was all set in this beautiful cosy snowy setting with reindeers in Scotland, and I could just picture myself sat by the fire drinking a whiskey, and I don't even like whiskey. That's how good it was. So the eagle-eyed among you may have spotted that was only 19 books, because one that was supposed to be released in October has now been pushed back to November, so I will talk about that next month. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down below. I love reading your comments and I love responding to you. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and if you do like it, please like and subscribe because it really helps me out. Until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.